And every day, I just feel like I'm waking up in an insane fever dream. Like, I don't know what the hell's going on. Like, eh, I just feel like I'm being gaslit every day when I say, hey, Trump's a kind of authoritarian and fascist. Like, he's doing X, Y, and Z. And then Republicans are like, no, he's not. And I'm like, what do you mean? So, in the next round of Trump authoritarian things, as you know, Trump's approval ratings are going down. Now, Rachel Maddow did a segment here, and we're going to pull some quotes and just kind of talk about the segment. I am not going to watch the segment. It's like 12 minutes long, and to be honest with you, I don't want to listen to Rachel Maddow talk for 11 minutes. She makes some good points, but that doesn't mean I want to listen to her talk. Anyways, I normally don't cover polls, often for a variety of reasons, because in many regards, they obviously just aren't a great reflection of how the country is feeling and how elections may go. They're not as concrete as they used to be, and this has been the case since Trump came on the scene in 2016. And I think it is to a point a little disingenuous to cover every single approval rating poll that drops. As we're going to see later in the video, we're going to look at a whole aggregate of polls because that's what I like to base my thoughts on. I like to wait until we have a good bit of polls starting to shift one way. Because if you're doing this thing that's like, oh, this pollster just came out and said Trump's approval rating is at 44, and then everyone runs with that, and then the next day, Daily Mail drops a poll, and Trump's approval rating's at 54, and everyone's just like, shh, like, all right, come on. You need to kind of let polls develop a little more, at least in terms of approval rating. And ladies and gentlemen, we are at that point. It is actually majority of polls now have Trump trending negative very, very quickly. But yeah, that's why I don't really like to cover polls that much. I think the last time I covered a poll was, I think it was like a Donald Trump approval rating poll, and I only kind of covered it ironically because it was from CNN, and Republicans were calling it like fake news, fake poll, blah, blah, blah. But like, it was either shortly after that poll on Trump's approval rating, or shortly before Elon Musk had retweeted a poll showing people favorable of Doge that was done by CNN. And they're like, look at this. And it's like, why are you citing that poll? You just said it was fake news for another thing you didn't like. So you either trust this polling company or you don't. Like, you can't just say, oh, I trust them when they support my narrative and I don't trust them when they are against my narrative. You're silly and you're not serious. Anyways, I digress. For those hoping to see a public rally behind President Donald Trump as his presidency nears the 100-day benchmark, I have some bad news. Public opinion seems to be turning sharply against the Republican incumbent. The latest national CNN poll, for example, found the president's approval rating down to 41%, which led to a straightforward headline: Trump's approval at 100 days, lower than any president in at least 7 decades. Two national surveys released in recent days, an Associated Press poll and a Washington Post ABC News Ipsos poll, found that president support dipping below 40%. And we're going to look at just a whole list of polls here in a minute. So stick around for that and we can get a better idea of what's going on here. Because as I said, I don't like to point to one poll and run with it. I like to look at the average and, kind of get my judgment based off of what majority of polls are saying as to one pollster supporting my narrative. The latest New York Times Siena College poll found the president's approval rating dipping to 42%. In the Times, Nate Cohn noted in accompanying analysis, you would be hard-pressed to find a single good number for Mr. Trump in his survey. It's an important detail. The largest numbers suggest that most Americans not only disapprove of the way Trump is handling his responsibilities, they also disagree with the president's agenda, his priorities, and even the speed in which he's trying to impose radical change. I wonder why people would be so against someone so hell-bent on gutting every social service in the government while mass deporting hundreds of thousands of people, while increasing defense spending and trying to cut Medicaid, Medicare. Like, I wonder why. And someone who is just blatantly ignoring the Constitution, like, what are we doing? Well, it's not surprising at all. This is where it gets interesting. Making matters worse for Trump, there's no reason to believe a comeback is imminent. The data suggests much of the public has not yet felt the direct impact of the White House tariffs, for example. And once the consequences of the administration's trade policy start affecting Americans' lives and wallets, it's easy to imagine Trump's floor sinking further. And yeah, that's very important. We have not felt, I mean, some people have, and people who directly work in industries that, deal with foreign shipping, imports, exports, etc. People are feeling it there, but like the broad majority of Americans have not felt it yet. Normally, we get this cargo from China and our foreign trading partners, and we have like stock for months. In about a month or two, and even if things were to go back to normal today, we're most likely still going to have some sort of gap where we do have this empty shelves thing that people are talking about. So, and his polls are already not looking good. And we haven't felt the impact of one of the biggest things he's doing. But as I said, this gets interesting. For his part, Trump has seen the shift in public attitudes, and he's ready to reassess the direction of his failing presidency. No, I'm just kidding. He's actually lashing out at pollsters in new and ridiculous ways, Newsweek noted. President Donald Trump has said pollsters that have shown his approval rating sliding in recent weeks should be investigated for election fraud. Trump cited recent polls from the New York Times, ABC News, Washington Post, and Fox News, which put his approval rating at 42%, 39%, and 44%, respectively. As this week got underway, Trump shortly before sunrise published an item to his social media platform that read, "We don't have a free and fair press in this country anymore. We have a press that writes bad stories and cheats big on polls. It is compromised and corrupt. Sad." What the fuck, dude? This is our president, man. This is our president. And, authoritarianism, fascism 101, discredit the media. Discredit the shit out of the media, which he has been doing a lot, but I've never really seen him go after the polls this hard. Normally, he cites just good polls for him and ignores bad ones, but now it's undeniable because there are no good ones. So he's panicking. He's like, fake, 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 discredit, discredit, discredit. And it's going to be interesting to see. So his biggest propaganda arm, ironically, is Fox News. Ironically, the biggest media conglomerate, or news conglomerate, I should say, in the United States. And it's not even close. Look at CNN's ratings versus Fox News. It's not close. And it's going to be, and they've been pumping. They've been like North Korean state media for Donald Trump. It's going to be interesting to see how they spin Trump trying to go after the pollsters and investigate them when Fox News in itself has its own polls that it conducts that are currently not favorable to Donald Trump. So this is going to be interesting to see how this all gets spun, but Republicans, they will find a way to do it. As promised, let's just look at the general spread of Donald Trump's approval rating. See this, you can see in the beginning of the month here, the beginning of April, why I just kind of ignored these. Like you had from Pew Research. These are all reputable polls, by the way. Don't get me wrong. I am in no way discrediting the pollster here. But you have Pew Research showing 48% approve and 59% disapprove. And then you have Harvard come at 48 approve to 46 disapprove. That's already a big difference. And then you have Daily Mail that comes out at 54% approval and 46% disapproval. So I'm like looking at these and like I've seen all the headlines for Pew Research and the I believe the CNBC one, and I'm like, all right. And then like at the same time you're seeing headlines about how his approval rating is at 54 from right-wing media, and it's just like, okay, so right now it's inconclusive and honestly seemed like 50-50, like if I'm being real. But now it's undeniable. It seems like since mid-April, oh my goodness. So you have -7, -11, -6, -11. You have a +1, that's his highest, which is 49 approve, 48 disapprove, -9, -2, -5, -10, -14, -12, -13. That is insane. And I don't even see the 39% poll that was cited in this list. So his average right now is -7.1 underwater at 45.3 approve and 52.4.
If you made it to this point in the video, I just want to give a special thank you. If you enjoyed it, please hit that like button down below. And if you really enjoyed it, maybe consider hitting that subscribe button while you're down there.
Just
I want to hear your
that.
thoughts in the comment section. I will try to reply
like
to
in the first 100 days
all
of
comments that I can.
In fact, I mean, as we
Until
mentioned
next
earlier,
time,
it's unprecedented.
that video on
and
screen.
It's only down from here, unless we pull like a Russia and he just completely takes over the polling companies or threatens them or whatever, and all of a sudden it's like, yeah, most of the country approves. Actually, 80% of the country approves of Trump. What are we doing, man? What are we doing? It'll be interesting to see, but you're not going to see a ton of polling coverage from me. I'll maybe cover some polls, unless it's something ironic like Elon Musk backing a poll just to shit on it a week later when it's against him. But yeah, I don't like covering polls that much, but now it just seems kind of undeniable, and I should at least mention it. Anyways, let me know what you think in the comment section down below, and I will see you in the next one.